This one should be only minutes. It isn't right because there's some things it's just not right. But I really don't like actors. Really don't like them. I really don't like theater people. I have never liked theater people. It was something that I caught a little of when I was young, but it was really in college that I was around theater people, and I got to just sort of, yeah, I, got all tanked and messed up after they were doing one of their plays, and it took me like a decade to understand, like, yeah, that play was demented, and it really wasn't that good of a story and didn't really have that much value. And the people involved were all these sort of really kind of broken people. That's what really threw me off, was just how broken. But and then as time went on, I mean, I would now and then meet somebody who did theater who they had skills. They had done voice lessons. They had done dance. They trained in the arts. They reminded me very much of the grandmother that raised me, because that's what was required. You had to train, and that's what you did when you weren't working shows. You were raising money to train more with very, very good artists, and you accepted that you were not good enough. You accepted that. That was the fundamental. That's why they were the maestro. That's why they were the maestra. And this is so much an industry now that is based off of like the mob, and like was really the most dangerous and horrible ends of the mob. The more I'm putting together little things I've learned over my lifetime, I'm like, no. I think this is like that real, like, super ill end of organized crime. Because there's a book called Blame It on the Blacks, Irish, and Jews, I believe, and it's about show business. And those were the three groups that were, it might have been Italians, Irish, and Jews, but I'm pretty sure it was Blacks, Irish, and Jews. And it was that all show business is heavily based off of those, like, groups. Those groups were ethnically they were involved a lot in show business. An empire of their own gets into the creation of Hollywood and the 6 Jewish families that created Hollywood, because they couldn't do their business on the East Coast because of Edison and his patent on motion pictures, or some kind of rights he had to showing motion pictures. I think that's what it was. You could film something, you just couldn't show it without the Edison company giving you the rights or something like that, or you had to pay them or something. But anyway, what we have now is just, these are just bad people. I mean, like, more and more it's becoming very clear that these are people that, it's not that they're morally ambivalent. It's that this really is that they really have no connection to the daily life of a normal person. They really don't know what any of us are going through. They don't ride the bus with poor people. That they just don't. They don't do the things that we do. And I'm sure a lot of these Hollywood types would be like, no, I get lattes, I do all these things, and this and that. And it's like, no. You all say things that show you are somehow quite isolated from, like, the fear of losing your job to an El Salvadorian or Guatemalan. You're quite isolated from carjackings, from knowing that if you go to 7-Eleven, that you really, like, you don't go to the 7-Eleven. You go to the supermarket. You're out of luck because you don't go to the 7-Eleven because people will jack you. There are blacks and white meth heads who will blow you away. They will punch a hole in you with a fucking gun. They will knock you out and they'll kick you to death. These people are totally isolated from that. They are totally isolated from seeing like a 5'2", Mexican guy with tattoos on his face at like, while you're going to work at 6:30 in the morning, this guy is still chilling, selling chiba on the corner. This is his last hour before he goes and sleeps for a few hours. They are totally disconnected from when you're a kid and you're trying to play in a park and there's like crazy homeless people just shitting and urinating like all over the place, and everybody's just acting, oh, this is fine. All these baby boomers, this is fine. You have to understand other people. Some people have troubles in life, and no. These are demented bums. They need to get ridden out on a rail. Your child should not be sitting there getting fucking having to deal with this shit. It's that ever since the fucking 60s, that it's just this poisoning of all things good, and especially childhood. And I don't like dramatists. I don't like theater people. It's my whole thing is you have to go back, put them back through the Greek, put them back through Greek stuff. Put them back through put them back through the Greek stuff. Choir, they sing, make them sing in Italian, make them sing in Latin, make them sing, like choir, like stuff that a choir would sing. Yeah, just it's so demented. That's all it is. I have now been looking at some of the Oscar footage. I'm like, these people are so self-important, and they're so demented, and they're so, like, their industry doesn't even, like, work mathematically. This is really something that, if you don't know about this, you should. Hollywood is its own world of books and economics. It doesn't make sense. It should not work. How much is spent on these, and then how they make money back, and how there's these ways that there's kind of production companies that go in and out of business constantly. There's people left holding the bag. Like, it's literally called Hollywood accounting. Somehow they needed to get bailed out by the government, remember? When, like, the whole economy fell apart and everything, and then suddenly it's like Hollywood needed to get bailed out. Though supposedly there's these conglomerates that own all these theaters. Like, wait, but what are you losing money on the theaters? What, people aren't going to movies? What are you not, what? And it turns out that this is why they could always claim they're just hemorrhaging money, or that people are pirating movies is just killing them, and because they're lying. It's a scam. It's some really elaborate economic financial scam called Hollywood accounting, and Max Kaiser talks about this all the time. Apparently, it's possibly a book called Hollywood accounting, and it gets you. This is something that apparently is so complicated in finance that you really have to understand finance to actually even get how it's done. And they're always skewing the scam so that they could keep it going. But yeah, people got to get this. There's something weird and wrong with Hollywood. There's a big rumor that a huge portion of Hollywood are actually a group of people called Shabbatans or Sabbatans, followers of Shabbatai Zvi, a like a false messiah, false Jewish messiah guy who converted to Islam in Turkey. It like SHABBATAI or sometimes S apostrophe VI or something like that. You won't be able to miss it. You put in Sabbatain, Shabbatai Svi, a Zevi or whatever, you will find it. It will pop up, and you'll even find websites of Shabbatains. There's still a group you could find. I'm gonna order the book, the Donmeh, that are these people that I think the word is called apostate, possibly apostate or half breed or something like that, or it's kind of a pejorative, but that's what this group is. They're understood to be secret Jews, but quite openly understood. Like, no, those are Donmeh. So they can't marry Jews. They'll move to Israel and trying to become real Jews, and they won't be allowed in. They won't be brought in. They're not a part of the tribe anymore. But they don't know. They were just these. They thought they were Jews who were living in Turkey, and they were hiding their Judaism. And it's not until they really learn the truth that they're like, wait, what am I? And it's that's a whole thing. It would take a lot to, because this is a very rumored hush hush kind of thing. It's a thing the Jewish community doesn't like to talk about. Not all Jews know about this, and really, like, not all Jews know about this. And it's, yeah, I get the idea that a lot of people have no idea that they probably were of that group, or were of some kind of apostate Jewish group, and they had no idea. It's not until like the internet that expanded that people are starting to find out, like, oh my God, like my family are these kind of apostate Jews that are not accepted into the general Jewish community, and did they even know this? And so, but there's a rumor that a big portion of Hollywood is made up of those people, and that's why Hollywood has all these weird rituals and weird shit that is always rumored, and the fucking around with kids and stuff like that, because the idea is that it's hard to explain. It's the things with Sabbatains, but yeah. So 12 and a half minutes. People who act like other people, they don't tell the stories of their people in a way that's some enriching tale. Far too often, there's just so much ugly and these political messages. A lot of political art makes art weak. There's a lot of stuff about, there's ways it could be done that's good, and then there's a lot of ways you make political art and it's just fucking crapola, and it makes art shit. And more and more that's fundamentally what we're getting to. People who just they haven't trained with a master, and they don't have skills, and that's just not, that shouldn't be tolerated. All right, later.